Yo everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to master Zandvoort on F1 2025. First of all, by going for a low speed lap, analysing every corner around the circuit. After that, how would I adjust the time trial world record setup to be usable in an online race, career mode or GP mode in fact. Wrapping up the video with a full speed qualifying lap example, including my ERS strategy on how I maximise my lap time potential. But starting off with that slow speed lap analysis, turn 1 you're going to be braking just before the 50 meter board, literally 55 meters before the corner is the ideal way to go, and then down into 3rd gear. You can take the first corner in 4th gear, but you'll be so low on the RPM on the exit, it was really difficult to maximise the exit speed potential. So if you're really cautious, you can take it in 4th, but ideally take it in 3rd. You want to get as close to this inside curbing as possible, and the banking around the first corner here will work in your favour to give you extra grip. So that is why you can carry so much speed and brake so late into the first corner. If the corner was completely flat, like a normal corner, normal apex around a different circuit, then probably this would be a low speed, low end or 3rd gear corner. But because of the extra speed you can carry, it's high end of 3rd gear. If you do want to help yourself with the traction, you can short shift to 4th on the exit, but again, if you keep it in 3rd, you'll have better power delivery on the exit and better lap time potential. Because of that, use up all the curbing on the exit, but do not go over this sort of seam in the middle of the curbstone. The reason for that is if you do go over that, that is an indication that you're going to end up bottoming out on the outside curbing. So yeah, just 2 wheels on that first segment of the curbing and you'll be a-okay. Open up the next corner by putting 2 wheels on the outside curbing. It's just free real estate basically that you can run over. And if you're feeling really confident with your car precision, 2 wheels on the inside curbstone here as well, and you're just nibbling away at getting some extra track usage and some extra track advantage as you're going around this very tight circuit. And of course, obvious statement I know, extra track is extra lap time. Coming in to now turn 3, this is really easy to lock up your front left tyre. In real life you would run along the outside of the wall, of the white line anyway, but in the game it does not recreate the physics of a banking around the corner fully, so you're better off just taking a normal trajectory of a racing line rather than doing what they would do in real life. But you'll be going down into 3rd gear and just modulating that brake pedal because it's so easy to lock up the front left as you get to this segment of the corner. And then you're looking to do a hard rotation in the middle of the apex and then getting the car straight as possible for the exit and then running on the exit as well. You can put 2 wheels just on top of this inside curbing slightly. As you can see, with just putting the tyre on top, it's not that exaggerated with the curb usage and you can get away with it. If you go higher, then the curbing becomes more violent, as you can see, and then will cost you lap time potential. Choose the minimum distance down this little curve's ending sector 1, and then you'll be trying to cut the inside curbing here. Again, just to minimize the distance of the straight. You don't have to do it. It's worth a few thousandths of a second, but a few thousandths of a second can make all the difference between pole position or P2. This next right-hander ending sector 1, starting sector 2 is completely flat out. But you do want to drop it down into 6th gear in the middle of the corner to keep the RPMs of the engine as high as possible, so then you're not stalling out the engine. If you take the whole corner in 7th gear, then at one point or another you're going to be too low on the RPM and it's going to bog the engine and cost you lap time. There's no real need to take the exit curbing there, so just avoid it. You're traveling extra distance. And then coming into the following right-hander, you maybe will upshift to 7th gear between the 2 corners here, depending on your exit speed and depending on the battery you use coming out of the previous corner. But then if you do go up to 7th, drop it down to 6th. If you do stay in 6th, just keep it in 6th gear as you run through the following right-hander. 2 wheels on the inside curbing, you don't really need to go any further than that. If you put 2 wheels on the orange part of the curbstone, then you end up in a situation that the car is going to be bounced around a little bit and it's not going to be the most comfortable because the exit of this corner is so easy to run wide and then end up in a difficult position. So just keep that in mind. I like to just take 2 wheels on the inside curbing and the car isn't really thrown around because of that, and it's a-okay. Braking for this corner is so difficult. It's one of the most difficult braking zones in the lap, to be honest. And you're going to be braking about 55 meters before the corner. If you really want to be brave, you can brake at 50 meters before the corner and then going down into that sort of fourth or third gear, depending on your preference. Also, to be honest, depends on the oversteer of your car. If you have a really oversteery car, then take it in fourth. You will have a bit of bogging on the exit of the corner because the engine RPM will be so low, but it will help the stability. If you don't need that extra stability from going in a higher gear, take it in third, and then you shall get a better momentum on the exit, recovered from the better RPM, you know. But this is a glitch. This is a complete glitch in the F1 game. It's been here for multiple years. I'm not happy that it's still here, to be honest. But basically, there's a glitch where if you drive over the white line here, you get grass on your tyres. As you can see, there is no grass anywhere in the circuit apart from on the inside of the curbing, but as you can see, there's grass on my tyre quite visibly right now. So if you take two wheels on the inside curbing, the grass does not get put on your tyre, but if you put two wheels only on the white line, as you're going to see right now, we're going to clear off the tyre. So now the tyre does not have any grass on it, and as you see, we're going to just take the white line here, and then we're going to end up getting grass on our tyre. Ridiculous that this is still here, to be honest. I really hope that they fix this, because it really makes the track not that enjoyable to drive in many situations for this corner, because you think that you do the right racing line, you think that you do the right thing, you think you put your car in the correct placement, but then you get grass on your tyre and you understeer wide because of it. So yeah, I hope that they fix it, but then speaking in a more positive tone for the rest of the lap, then you'll be trying to use as much of the exit road as possible, and then pulling the car to the right hand side to open up the next left-hander. The further to the outside of the track you can get, the better going into this following apex, and then running the car through the left-hander. I like to try and pick up an early apex here if I can, because the tyres are so overheating right now. You've done so many high speed and high load corners in a row that basically the front tyres and the rear tyres are going to be starting to overheat massively here on a qualifying lap, even in a racing lap. So yeah, I like to try and get the car in early, because if you can, then you can understand how much understeer or oversteer the car will have and react to it accordingly. But if you try to go for a late apex here, then you may end up in a situation that your car understeers too much and you can never fully recover the position of the car around the corner. So on the exit, you can take two wheels on the outside curbing, then open up the DLS as you're now running up to the end of sector 2. Pull the car to the left hand side of the circuit to arrive at the braking zone. If you want to be cheeky and really maximize your potential here, then you can take two wheels just about on this outside curbing, and then you'll be braking where the curbing actually starts as well, dropping the car down into third gear. Two wheels on the inside curbstone here. The rear of the car can become a bit floaty as you're going over a bump and then into a following left-hander. Then two wheels on the inside curbstone again. Try to keep the car really tight during this apex, because then it will open up the exit even better. If you go wide here on the middle of the corner, then you're still turning the steering wheel so aggressively to try and make the outside of the corner, and it's just going to limit your ability to get back on the power efficiently. There's also another glitch here, to be honest. I think you would have heard it just marginally, but again, the white line glitch is here as well. And if you're driving on the white line, you can actually get gravel a little bit on your tyre. It's very marginal. It's not as much as it is on the previous corner we talked about in this video on this lap, but it is still there. And you can sort of see bumps on the suspension movement when you're driving on the white line here. It doesn't actually happen this exact time, but when you're driving it and taking a normal racing line, then you can sometimes see it that the white line will give you gravel on your tyre. Then also on the exit here, the glitch can be happening occasionally. It's really hard to do. There you go. Now you can see it. It's a very specific line that when you drive it, you get grass on your tyre, so just keep that in mind. Try to avoid being on that white line for too long on the exit. Either put two wheels on top of the curbing to avoid picking up the grass in the tyre, or just don't use the white line at all is my best advice. Coming into the final apex of the lap, you don't really have a braking reference here. You're going to be braking about 45 meters, 40 meters before the corner. corner, and then rolling off the brake pedal nice and early, trying to get as close to this inside curbstone as possible, and then running exit speed as high as you can. 2 wheels on the outside curbing. Don't go any further, because then you will bottom out, as you can see right now, and it'll be a one-way ticket to the outside barrier. Open up DLS, and if you're ending a qualifying lap, try to keep the car nice and tight as possible to minimize distance up to the start finish line. If you're on a normal racing lap, then just keep the car to the normal racing line. But then, yeah, if you're ending, keep it nice and tight to the inside of the track, and that'll be the optimal way to end the lap, minimizing your distance around the circuit, maximizing your lap time potential. So with that being said, let's take a look at that time trial world record setup, and how would I adjust it for an online race. So this is going through the setup right now, and as you can see, it's very aggressive, quite high on the ride height as well, and very low on the tire pressures. So immediately what I would do is go up on the tire pressures as high as possible, and then the rears I would, yeah, just put to the minimum, in all honesty. As I talked about on a previous track guide, I'm starting to understand the game even more, and minimum tire pressure seems to be the best way to go about it. Even if the tires are overheating, you sort of just want to avoid the softs as much as you can in the race anyway, and then with the mediums and the hard compounds, then you can run the rear tire pressure at minimum, and it seems to be the way to go. The braking bias is set to 50 at the moment. That's simply because the rear wing angle is higher on the rear, so the car is generating quite a lot of understeer. I would just straight away go up to a balanced wing level. Then if you want to go lower, maybe go to 46, 46. If you want a bit more rotation, drop that off-road differential to lower, 10, 15. If you want more stability, of course, go up on it, but I don't think you'll need that with the way that this setup is made. And then, yeah, the rest of the setup is pretty okay. Of course, it's a bit limited just because it's a time trial setup, what came out very early on in the game's progress. So you can see the world record was done by Lucas Blakely, on the 1st of the 6th, 2025, so well over a month ago. So yeah, very, very long time ago since the setup was actually made, so it's not the most optimal setup in the world. With that being said though, let's check over to the full speed qualifying lap example and into the ERS strategy. How to master Zandvoort on F1 2025. Once you're out of the banking, enable the overtake button and burning down to 80% here on the pitch straight. Turn 1. Keep the car as tight to the inside curbing as possible, then on the exit, burning down to 84% on the battery, lifting the folder through the right-hander, then keeping the car tight through the bank to turn 3, maximizing your traction potential. Overtake button is enabled all the way down until 60% here, starting sector 2. Flat out through the right-hander, drop the gear to keep the RPMs high and burning 5% battery on the exit. Through the right-hander again, avoid hitting the white line on the inside too much, as you will pick up grass on the tyre as a game glitch if you do so. Through the next left-hander, just try to avoid oversliding the tyres, then burning the overtake button down to 40%. Into the next chicane, clink the curb on the inside and keep the car tight to the inside white line, rotate it, then burning down to 40% into the final apex of the lap. Through the right-hander, keep the car smooth. Now enable the DLS and ERS combination, minimize your distance up to the start finish line, and that is a lap here in Zandvoort. We've done a 1 minute 7.987. So with Zandvoort, it's all about minimizing that tire sliding. Try not to overheat the surface of the tire. If you do so, then you'll lose a lot of grip. Speaking about the sector times though, we've done a 23.6, a 23.8, and a 20.5 to conclude the lap. So I've been Brendon Leigh. Thank you so much for watching this video, and yeah, hopefully it's helped. And Zandvoort is a very, very difficult track to master indeed. And yeah, catch you in the next video. Grazie ragazzi, and see you next time. Ciao ciao, bye bye.